Good afternoon. Welcome to your RC class. Welcome to your must do RC sets. These are questions patterned on CLAT so you can um, follow these passages for your CAT preparation. Give me a second while I set up my chat. I can see, if you can see me and hear me clearly, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up so that I can start the class. Can you hear me, see me? Give me a thumbs up so that I know whether you can see me and then I can start the class. Yeah? Okay, let's start. Today I have chosen a slightly different passage. Instead of current events, fights, international conflicts, chosen a passage on political philosophy. Fortunately, Independence Day happened, so a lot of people started talking about a lot of editors wanted to talk about the philosophy behind our constitution, the ideals of democracy, and again, these are topics that Cat is very fond of. So, today's passage is on that. As usual, I will give you a minute, a little less than a minute, about 45 seconds to read the passage, and then we will answer questions. All right? Shall we start? Start. All right. So, what does the author say in the first uh, slide? He says that you know today's subject when you read the first paragraph itself. That's what you should do. Read the first paragraph quickly and say fraternity, fraternity, fraternity. So, the passage is about fraternity. Whether you know the meaning or not, you will know it when you read the passage. Fraternity is crucial, something is important, whether for cherishing freedom or building a nation. Something really important. To truly nurture it, every individual must actively engage. So, it is something that an individual can do. The legacy of our freedom struggle highlights how precious freedom is. Oh, I think I need to put this, huh? And the significant sacrifices made to achieve it. This historical backdrop has laid the foundation for nationalism, secularism, and democracy. So, this fraternity is important and it has laid the foundation of nationalism, secularism, and democracy. Consensus allowed us to chart the course of nation building with non-violence as a core principle. So, there are a lot of principles that were the foundation for building our nation. And one of the core principles, of course, was non-violence. This approach emphasized democracy through discussion, debate, and persuasion rather than resorting to violence. So, how do you establish democracy? Through discussion, debate, and persuasion, not non-violence. So, fraternity is important for nation building. Every individual must practice it, engage in it. Our freedom struggle shows us that freedom is very important. We have to make sacrifices to achieve it. We had to make sacrifices to achieve it. Because of the freedom struggle, we had the foundation of nationalism, secularism, and democracy. And we all agreed that non-violence should also be a core principle in guiding us. Then democracy can be established through discussion, debate, and persuasion, not through violence. First paragraph done. Hello, everybody. Stock market. All right. I'm just I'm just rephrasing, simplifying, summarizing the first slide, and then we'll move on to the next slide. Second paragraph. Historically, political parties have embraced a diversity of opinions and encouraged dissent as a normal aspect of political dialogue. Indian history Historically, political parties in India have welcomed diversity. They have encouraged dissent, and that is seen as a very normal part of political dialogue. It's not that the moment somebody says something, you brand him or her anti national and say, okay, leave the country. It's not like that. Historically, we have encouraged, embraced diversity of opinion. We have encouraged dissent. Only through dissent do you become stronger. The unity of India was not assumed but actively strengthened by recognizing and accommodating the country's immense regional, linguistic, ethnic, and religious diversity. We are a country with immense diversity. We come from diverse regions. We are a huge country. That's why we're called a subcontinent. Languages, we have different ethnicities and different religions. All this is diversity. They're all different, and we have accommodated this difference within us. Leaders understood that while, hello Arun, all right. So while leaders understood that while the project of fraternity was daunting, again we come across the word fraternity, we don't know its meaning yet. It was essential for India's peace, progress, and prosperity. So first paragraph, he said it's important for freedom and building a nation. Second, it's essential for peace, progress, and prosperity. With over a billion people and 77 years of independence, fostering fraternity has become even more critical. Now it's even more important than before. All right. Yet, now, first paragraph, fraternity is important. Second paragraph, we have embraced diversity. And today we are in a position when it's very important uh, to promote this feeling of fraternity. Yet the spirit of fraternity seems to be diminishing due to the negative influences of political parties and social media. This spirit of fraternity, remember, we still haven't got to the meaning. Those of you who know it, it's okay, is obviously something that's important for peace, prosperity, democracy, freedom, nation building. But this spirit is being threatened by two things: political parties who have historically supported diversity, but now political parties and social media are threatening this. All right. Road blockages, riots, violence, attacks on property, often instigated, somebody is pushing from behind, endorsed, supported by political factions, have become common occurrences. So either they are provoking these incidents, riots, violence, attacks, or they are supporting it, endorsing it, and these are become very common. Social media further exacerbates. Exacerbate means to make a bad situation worse. So it makes this bad situation worse by spreading misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and fake news. Misinformation, twisted information, disinformation, wrong information, hate speech, and fake news. And what is the result of this? Fragments society and erodes public life. All right. Then, next slide. No. I summarize the slides as we go on. You have 45 seconds for the next slide. Please read it in 45 seconds. As you read, summarize it the way I have summarized it. All right. 45 seconds starts now. twisted information, wrong information that is twisted and giving you wrong, harmful information as misinformation. So basically, wrong information, twisted information, harmful information is called misinformation. All right. Are you done reading or you want another 15 seconds? Okay. So, what does the author say here? Remember, we are getting an idea of what is this fraternity. Something that has encouraged peace, prosperity, democracy. Now he says the fraternity enshrined in the preamble of our constitution is more than a legal or a political concept. So, what is this concept? You're getting an idea. It's a very broad concept. It is a profound moral and spiritual value. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar pointed out that without fraternity, equality and liberty would remain superficial. So, whatever is this broad concept, which is important for democracy, important for peace, progress, it's also important for equality and liberty. He emphasized, Acharya Kripalani emphasized that fraternity should not be viewed as a constitutional or legal requirement. It is part of the constitution, it is a constitutional requirement, but it's a moral ideal. So every student, every citizen should embody fraternity. It's a Now we are coming to the meaning of fraternity. It is a universal connection. So think of the concept as a bond. Let me just get my pen. Sorry. Um, huh. So this fraternity is a universal connection. Think of fraternity as a bond, right? Sensing that we are all a part of a single shared existence. So fraternity is closely linked to this idea of a connection, a bond, which is important for democracy, peace, and progress. To revive and sustain the spirit of fraternity, it is crucial to address the sources of discord and negativity in public life. To keep fraternity alive and sustaining, we have to tackle the sources of discord and negativity. In a climate where entitlements and rights often overshadow responsibility, we need to focus a sense of commonality. So, fraternity involves a bond, involves common togetherness, commonality. It involves engaging in meaningful dialogues, holding social media platforms accountable for their role in spreading divisive content, something that divides nations, emphasizing activities that highlight our shared values and experiences. These include any of such activities as sports, music, space exploration, yoga, or the valor of our armed forces. Positive narratives can reinforce social cohesion and unity. So remember, fraternity is to do with something to do with cohesion, unity, connection. It's an ongoing process, it is never static, and we have to remember that building a sense of togetherness and collaboration at all levels is essential. So, fraternity involves bonding, involves cohesiveness, involves collaboration. That is important for you to understand the rest of the passage. All right. Which of the options captures the key concepts discussed in the passage? Now remember, we will go back to the passage and see the main miss is twisted, harmful. This is wrong. There's not much of a difference, a very small nuance of a difference between the two. All right. So the first passage told us when you are given this question about the flow of thoughts, remember he has told us importance of fraternity. Second passage goes on about again importance of fraternity. Okay, if he asks you the flow of passage, cat, this is one of the key questions. How do you do it? Third, spirit is getting diminished due to violence. Okay, diminished, fraternity diminished, eroded due to violence, etc. Fourth paragraph, it is a part of our constitution. Fifth paragraph, if we put it together, what are the things we should do to build it and sustain it? Correct? Which option best captures that? Fraternity, importance of fraternity, how fraternity is getting eroded by violence, social media, political parties, what, how it is enshrined in your constitution. It's a legal, constitutional, moral value, and here there should be an L. Is there a lag still? Is there a lag still? Yeah. So, what is the right answer? Which option gives you all the main points in the right order? Is it A, B, C, or D? Let me see your answers quickly. Let's look at option A. Fraternity is there, persuasion, violence is there, erosion has been mentioned, but he has also mentioned how one should try to revive it and sustain it and what should be done. That part hasn't been. So, this is incomplete. It doesn't give you all the points discussed in the passage. Fraternity, diversity, violence, moral values doesn't go beyond that, doesn't mention anything about how it can be revived, how it is being eroded, how moral values are being eroded, and what can be done to revive it. So, that part, the second part of the passage, hasn't been tackled. So, that is wrong. Fraternity, erosion of moral values, revival of moral values. Okay, but the problem is it doesn't tell you erosion has been kept separate, moral values have been kept separate, revival. These all erosion of moral values, okay, revival of fraternity and moral values, and something else. Can we see something better? Fraternity, diversity, including diversity. Fraternity is important because we are a land of great diversity. There has been an erosion of moral and democrat, and what should be done to revive it? Therefore, the correct answer is D. Got it? Okay. Question 2. The second paragraph of the passage is essentially about which of the following? What is the second paragraph about? Let's quickly go to the second paragraph of the passage. This is the second paragraph of the passage, right? What is it about? Historically, political parties have embraced diversity of opinions, encouraged dissent as a normal aspect of political dialogue. Unity was not assumed, it was strengthened. It was by accommodating this diversity and forging a unity through that, in that diversity, to maintain peace, progress, and prosperity. So it talks about how there is diversity in India and how one has to foster fraternity to keep our democracy alive, right? That's what it's talking about. So, which option gives that best? Keeping diversity alive for progress, maybe. Fraternity and unity does not mention the diversity historically that political parties have encouraged. Unity in diversity. Through diversity, we remember the importance, how crucial fraternity is. Right? Progress through division, he is not talked about division. So the correct answer is C, unity in diversity. We are diverse. Historically, political parties have accommodated this diversity and have fostered fraternity. And it's important to do that. That's what he says. So the correct answer is C. All of the following can be inferred from the passage except, so find out an option that cannot be inferred. What option cannot be inferred? Give me answers quickly. Without a strong sense of fraternity, social and political progress is undermined. Undermined means weakened. Fraternity is a corollary to democracy. It's a natural requirement of democracy. So they are two sides of the same coin. Diversity is a double edged sword, and social media has contributed to a decline in the spirit of fraternity. Now, when you look at it, which one is definitely there? We've read about how social media and political parties are a threat to this, so this can be inferred, cannot be my right answer. Fraternity is crucial to democracy, so corollary to democracy, this also can be inferred. This is not our key answer. So we need a strong sense of fraternity for social and political progress. Without it, we cannot have social and political progress. This also can be inferred, so not. Diversity is a double-edged sword, means it has both advantages and disadvantages. It is both good and harmful. The author has not said that. Author has only mentioned about the existence of diversity in India, and how you can, corollary is the other side, the natural consequence or the other side. Like if I say A is greater than B, the corollary is B is less than A. That's the corollary, the natural other side. Okay. So here you can take it as fraternity is a natural ally of democracy. It's a fraternity and democracy are intertwined. If fraternity is there, there is democracy. Okay. So democracy requires fraternity. So that's the meaning of corollary. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Okay. Like in a question which asks what is the corollary to the statement, you can also look at an option which can be concluded from the statement. All right. Okay. Which of the options follow from the given statement? That means what can you infer from the given statement? Look at the statement. The statement is in the form of a sentence, a logical, uh, it's like a conditional sentence. So read it. To revive and sustain the spirit of fraternity, it is crucial to address the sources of discord and negativity in public life. All right. So there are two parts. You want to revive and sustain the spirit of democracy. In order to revive and sustain the spirit of fraternity, it is very important to address the sources of discord and negativity in public life. All right. So this is like a typical logic, based on the logic given in the statement, which is, which of the options is definitely true, follows definitely true based on what is given. To revive and sustain the spirit of fraternity, it is crucial to address the sources of discord and negativity in public life. If the spirit of fraternity is revived, it, that means the sources of discord and negativity in public life have been addressed. So, if you see a country where the spirit of fraternity is there, then you can definitely say that the sources of discord and negativity in public life have been addressed and they are not there anymore. Is this correct? B. If the sources of negativity are addressed, then spirit of fraternity has been revived. Okay. To get into an IIM, okay, you have, it is important, it is imperative, it is actually unavoidable, but I'll just put it in the same word, to take CAT. All right. Now I'll say Arun has got into an IIM. I can definitely conclude that Arun took CAT, because to get into an IIM, you have to take CAT. But if I say Arun took CAT, can I say he's definitely into an IIM? I mean, it would be nice if we did that. Then everyone who takes CAT gets into an IIM, right? So basically, he is saying in order for this to happen, this has to happen. So, based on the consequence, we can say definitely this requirement was fulfilled. But based on one of the requirements, we cannot say this definitely is true. So B is not the correct answer. A is. For a fraternity to be revived, you have to address the sources of discord. If you see in a country fraternity has been revived, you can definitely conclude that the sources of discord are not there. But if you tackle the sources of discord, it doesn't necessarily mean that fraternity will be revived. There may be other conditions. So in these questions, remember, this is a sufficient condition. This is the goal. This is one of the conditions. So whenever you get a question like this, look at it like I am and cat and you'll get the answer. To get into an IIM, you have to take cat. He's got into an IIM, he must have cleared cat. But just because he took cat doesn't mean he got into an IIM. So the correct answer is A, not B. All right? Okay. Next one. Which of the following, if false, would contradict the author's view? Whenever you get a question like this, first, before looking at the options, ask yourself, what are you looking at? What is the correct option? If the option is false, it contradicts the author's view. That means if the option is true, it would align with the author's view. Look for an option that has been mentioned in the passage exactly uh, as the author has stated it or similar to what the author has stated. So, which option is correct? If for every option you do not falsify it, right? You just look at an option which aligns with the author's views. Then, if it is false, it would contradict the author's view. So, which one is correct? And these are the questions when a cat question setter finds that I don't have enough questions to ask. Let me put it this way, right? So that the question becomes very easy if you understand what exactly am I looking for. Fraternity is treated as just an add-on while other ideas are given importance. Fraternity is necessary for the meaningful implementation of liberty and equality. If fraternity is absent, the principles of equality and liberty may be misused. A collective sense of belonging impairs the realization of individual ideals, which is the correct answer. If B is false, it would contradict. Therefore, B is the correct answer. That the author has said, no, without fraternity, equality and liberty are shallow. So, fraternity is crucial for liberty and equality. He is saying fraternity is crucial. Other ideals he has not mentioned. So, this is not. He has told us that the principles of liberty and equality require fraternity, but we do not know what will happen if fraternity is absent. They will be misused, they may not exist at all. So that is also not correct. Collective sense of belonging is nothing but fraternity. So it does not, he said nothing. Individuals must practice it. Doesn't mean that fraternity will not let you achieve your individual ideals, right? Therefore, the correct answer for 5 is B. Excellent. Which of the following is not an assumption in the following line? So you have to look at three options which are assumptions and eliminate the one that does not is not an underlying reason in this sentence. It's not implied in this sentence. It's not inbuilt in this sentence. Impair means hamper, impede, obstruct. All right. Uh, so there is a historical tradition of historically political parties have embraced diversity. So there is a historical tradition of acceptance. Political now, why would they embrace diversity? That means political parties see a diversity as good for the political process. Dissent, they encourage dissent. That means dissent can be a part of political dialogue. But we are We are told that diversity is being threatened. That does the sentence here does not talk about contemporary politics, though in the passage he has mentioned that in the present times, fraternity is threatened, dissent, diversity, everything is being threatened by a lot of factors. That does not mean this particular sentence, it's not an assumption. That is number one, why this option is wrong. Second, he has not said it does not embrace diversity. Maybe contemporary politics does, maybe there are voices and threats to it still. Right? So, both ways, option D is the correct answer. All right. What now? Now, give me your definition of fraternity. After we've read it, at no point has the author really told us what is fraternity. So, if you were to define fraternity in terms of in the context of the passage, how would you define it? Type in your answers. How would you define fraternity? How would you describe fraternity? What did you gather from the passage as the meaning of fraternity? Friendship and a sense of belonging. All right. Anyone else? There are lots more participants, but they're very quiet. The silent ones. Huh? Engage more in the class. I will also be encouraged. Okay. All right. A sense of belonging, a sense of unity, a sense of solidarity, mutual respect among individuals of a group or a society, any group. If there is fraternity, means there is a bonding, there is a connection, there is unity, solidarity, mutual respect, everything comes in. All right, good. Next one. What does fraternal mean? We know fraternity. What does fraternal mean? And what do you think is the meaning of the root word frat? Fraternal, fraternal feelings. What is the meaning of fraternal? And it's obviously related to fraternity. And what do you think is the meaning of the root word frat? Frat is from Latin. What do you think is the meaning of the root word? Again, you can easily guess based on the meaning of fraternity. If IIFT exam had existed, now we don't have an IIFT exam. It's IIM Delhi now, but IIFT is famous for asking you what is the root word for this word. What does it mean? They once, I think, 2 years back, it was Rhin, RHIN, right? Fraternal means brotherly, and frat or frater means brother in Latin. That's how the word is. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the session today. Before, uh, generally not. The passage, though, is similar to a cat passage, which is the uh, objective of the session, that we give you must do questions for cat. Must do questions would be either main point, primary purpose, or flow of main ideas from the passage. Second would be conclusion or inference, and third would be question 6. What is an assumption in a particular line? So this is the line given to you. What is the information, or what has the author taken for granted when he has said this? If he has said historically political parties have embraced diversity, that means there is a historical tradition of diversity in India. If he says that political parties have encouraged diversity, that means obviously he is saying political parties have seen diversity as good. Why would somebody embrace a concept unless it's beneficial to them? So the assumption is it's beneficial to them. Second, he says they have encouraged dissent. Then that also in political dialogue. So the assumption is that dissent is a good part of political dialogue. Dissent can be a benefit for political dialogue, can be beneficial for political dialogue. Now, why is this not an assumption? In this sentence, nothing has been mentioned about contemporary politics. We are only supposed to find the assumption in this statement. So I do not look at contemporary politics in this statement, so I'm not going to accept it as an assumption. Second, in the passage also, if he asks what is the assumption, this is not an assumption, because he has said there are threats to diversity, there are threats to fraternity, but that doesn't mean that contemporary politics does not. Dissent means opposition, right? So in a political party, if you speak against the leadership, that's called dissent, that's called dissidence. All right, so any kind of opposition is dissent. All right. Okay, now before we end the session, I'll be back next Saturday at the same time. Make sure you join us on time, and I want more student difference of opinion, opposition, anything is dissent. All right, make sure you join on time, and I want more students to answer. All right, only one student answering questions is not the way to go forward. Everybody type in your answers. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. CAT 2024 Part 2, 20th August, 8:30 p.m. Make sure how to apply, which B school to apply, looking at your background and your strengths. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you again very soon next week at the same time. Make sure you join on time and make sure you answer those questions. All right. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.